This is the Zoom H5, and in this video I will review this device while being out here on a field recording trip in this beautiful forest. Now I own the Zoom H5 since 10 years and I've recorded with it all over the world, and I still use it until this day on a regular basis. So this is the 10 years review of the Zoom H5. First, to start out, this is how the recorder looks like. It would come with a soft rubber surface, but around 5 years ago the rubber started to get very sticky and I had to clean it with a rubber cleaner. This removed the rubber but also the writing on the recorder. This happens if you leave your recorder outside in the sun or at a humid place for too long. So if you don't want this to happen to you, just always put it back into the case and store it somewhere where it's cold and dark, and don't leave it out in the sun. On the top we have the XY capsule, which comes with the recorder when you buy it. So you can also buy other microphone capsules like a shotgun capsule or a mid-side capsule. But I personally only use the XY capsule, and if I want to use other microphones, I much rather just plug in some external microphones down here at the bottom. And the reason for that is because these preamps down here, they're much more quiet compared to the capsule preamp up here, which is a lot more noisy. I also conducted a self-noise test with this recorder and other microphones, and I made a video about that, so I will put you a link into the description. The inputs at the bottom of the recorder can also be powered with 48 volts of power, so phantom power, but if you activate that, the batteries inside of the recorder will get depleted much faster. Normally they run around 10 hours, but if you actually activate the 48 volts, it will last only 2 hours around. So one workaround is to actually have a power bank that you can plug in right here with the USB port. With the USB plug, you can actually also connect your recorder with a computer and use it as an audio interface. I covered all these functions in a separate video, and I will also put you that link into the description. Now here on the side we can turn the recorder on and off, and there's also a hold function which locks all the buttons on the recorder. Sadly, this doesn't lock the gain wheels, so if you put your recorder into your pocket while you record, they can move around quite easily. And one solution that I found is to just take some tape and just tape it on top of the gain wheels, and this way they don't move anymore. Now on the right side of the recorder at the top of the XY capsule, we also have a mic line 3.5mm jack input. So here you can connect your lavalier microphone, and I also always use it for my SR3 binaural microphone. Now if you start recording, you have to first decide which rec mode you want to use. So in the menu under rec mode, you can choose between multi-file and stereophile. Stereophile means basically that you have to choose which input you're going to record. So the XY capsule or the external microphones down here. If you choose multi-file mode, it will actually record all 4 channels at the same time, and it will create 2 different stereo files on your SD card. If you decide to record in stereo mode, you can record files up to 96 kHz at 24 bits, and if you record in multi-file mode, you're limited to 48 kHz at 24 bits. This recorder doesn't let you record in 32-bit floating point, which is a bit of a bummer if you ask me. But what you can do instead is you can turn on a backup track which records the same input twice, and on the second recording it actually turns down the input gain by 12 dBs. So if something clips, you still have your backup track as a safety net. Now if you do field recordings outside, I highly recommend getting a windscreen. If you buy the recorder, you will get this foam windscreen right here. But this is in most cases not enough, so I recommend getting this WSU1 windscreen, which fits perfectly on the microphone and protects it from distortion. I also always bring a tripod with me. The cool thing about this is that you can just screw it on the bottom of the recorder, and then you can also use it as a grip, so you can hold the recorder like that, which also minimizes the handling noises a little bit. But if you want to completely get rid of the handling noise, you just can place it somewhere and also walk away while you record. Now while I'm recording, I always like to listen back to what I'm actually recording. So for that I'm using the HD25 by Sennheiser. You can plug them in here on the side, and then I will adjust the gain so that the loudest points, so the loudest peaks, are around -10 dBs on the screen. If I'm too loud it will clip, and if I'm too quiet I have too much self noise if I later on boost the volume of the recording. Alright, so enough talking for now. We want to hear some sounds. this is now the Zoom H5 with the XY capsule, and I also put the windscreen on top of it because there's a little bit of wind. And the Zoom H5 is now on the Manfrotto nanopole, so this is another stand that I'm using quite a lot. So what I want to do next is I want to move around a little bit and also talk while I'm doing that, so that you can actually also hear how my voice is changing and how it also changes in the stereo spectrum. So now I'm standing on the right of you, and now I'm standing on the left of you. So this is the left side, and the XY capsule is actually really good for localization of sounds. So you can really spot if something is on the right or on the left. And now I'm standing very far away, and now I'm coming closer to you. And I also made already a full video about like stereo recordings and mono recordings and the differences between them. So if you want to learn more about that, just click this video right here. Alright, so now I took the recorder off the stand, and I also want to demonstrate you how the handling sounds actually sound like. So this is when I'm holding the recorder directly in my hand, and when I move around my hand you can really hear that quite well. Now I also have the stand down here that I can hold, and I think the handling sound is a little bit less if I hold it here, but you can still hear it. And now I can also like record some sounds on the ground to show you how that sounds like. So these are the leads. So now I also connected a external microphone to the recorder. So this is the Rode NGG5 shotgun microphone that you can hear right now, and it is connected to input 1, and this also needs 48 volts of power, so this is going to deplete my batteries quite quickly. If you're recording only with one microphone as an external input, you can also choose in-1 to mono mix in the menu, so this will automatically pan one channel, which is normally on the left only or on the right only, in the middle, so that you actually have a clean centered sound. So now it is time to summarize the pros and cons of this recorder. For the pros, I would say that it is very rock built, so you can almost not destroy this recorder. Secondly, I really like the flexibility for many different use cases that this recorder has. Third is that it can record in multi-file mode, so you can actually record all 4 channels at the same time. And last but not least, I would say that this recording that you get with the XY capsule, so the stereo recording, is actually really clean. Now for the cons, it is definitely the sticky rubber surface. I didn't like that at all when that happened. Secondly, it's the battery life, so the batteries get depleted fairly quickly if you record with external microphones. Third is the lack of 32-bit floating point, so that would actually be really nice to have this on this recorder. And last but not least, if you record with the XY capsule, you have a fair bit of self noise, although I have to be fair that if you compare this recorder with other recorders, this one performs actually not that bad when it comes to self noise. So now the final question. Would I buy this recorder again after 10 years of using it? The answer is definitely yes. If this recorder would break tomorrow, I would walk into the next store and buy another one of these. I really love the flexibility that this recorder gives me, and if you're new to field recording, I think this is the perfect device to start out with. There's also the H1N, which is slightly smaller, but it doesn't have the external inputs down here, and this could be actually really nice if you want to later on upgrade. So I think it's a perfect device for all field recorders out there. So if you're also new to field recording, you might also like this video right here. It's a video where I talk all about different microphones, different recorders and different techniques. And yeah, I think you'll like that one. So see you there. Thanks for watching.